Hello and welcome back to the Everything Canada Soccer podcast. Your host, as always, Jordy, with Felipe and with our new team member, Jamal. How are you doing?
What up? What up? What's good? Thanks for getting me on board here. It's feels good.
Yeah, of course. Jamal's been in the background a little bit recently, helping us with posts and video editing and everything like that. A friend of Felipe. How far back do you two go?
I think we go back,
Eight,
what,
10 years.
8 years? Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say
something like
six,
that.
but 8 years.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
basically came to Canada like a few years apart. We both kind of went to school
Yep.
together, worked together. Obviously still working together. And yeah,
Play FIFA together.
played FIFA together quite a few times. And yeah, we have a passion for soccer. Especially I'm coming from the Middle East and Africa, and Felipe coming from Brazil. So yeah, it's good
Interesting
to be,
fact,
yeah, it's good to be
Jamal.
part of the expansion of Canadian soccer, especially during this World Cup.
I was gonna say interesting fact. Jamal's quite involved with some soccer stuff. Last World Cup in Canada for a woman, I think it was in 2015.
Yeah,
He's the boy that hooked me up some tickets, so I was able to go because at that time
yeah, we worked it.
I was a broke student, so that was a good friend to have too.
Yeah, man,
And
just back in university, doing those activations and things like that. It was good
yeah,
actually seeing it made me even more passionate about soccer watching the women's team kind of grow the last couple of years. So that's been good as well.
nice.
No, it's awesome. So, since you're from Winnipeg, that means that you're a Valor FC fan, eh?
Yeah, by default, I guess, right? Is that how it
By
works? No, I
default,
don't know.
yeah.
But yeah, Valor kind of been supporting them from the get go. Winnipeg is home in Canada, so yeah, Valor. It's been nice. I feel like the pandemic sort of derailed a little the momentum that we had going.
Mhm.
Um, but I was really happy when we kind of got a new coach because we had a coach that was kind of started off well, but really wasn't performing well. So that was good to see the club sort of put the fans first and kind of listen to the fans in that aspect. And it's just interesting to see where we're going. I think we had a good first half of this season. We were
Mhm.
fairly competitive, but things kind of fell apart pretty quick in the second half of the league, the season. So I mean, Cavalry did really well. So it's always good to see a few homegrown Winnipeg players do well, even though it's not at Valor. So
Mhm.
that's always a plus.
Yeah, and I feel like Akio leaving Valor too made that performance, the offense performance from Valor go down. Like the kid is special, at least in the CPL level. Like he was at a really good level for Valor.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, hence why he went to Europe, right? Like,
Mhm.
but yeah. So good that we have a bit of leverage now.
Yeah.
We don't go just supporting cavalry. We can have
Across
Yeah.
the prairies.
exactly. We can
Yeah,
and
more
hey,
to come.
Prairies is
More to
getting a
come.
new team too, right? Like I mean, um,
Saskatchewan, yeah, I think so, or Regina,
yeah, yeah. They
further
haven't
north,
announced the club, like the actual
the name.
branding,
Yeah,
They
but
haven't yet.
yeah,
Still waiting on that. Probably around the same time that Kelowna will get announced. I'm guessing. I have a feeling they'll come in to the 2024 season, but that's a topic for another day. Little couple points of business before we really get into talking about Canada, because that's always what we want to talk about, especially with the World Cup, with it being crazy. But we have to thank our first ever sponsor for this channel. Never thought I'd ever say that when I first started this. But as you can tell, me and Felipe are wearing some merchandise. Boom. Got the logo
it
here,
looks sick.
the World of Soccer alternate logo. So, World
So
of
yeah,
Soccer, if no one knows, is where I've worked for the past couple of years around the start of the pandemic and everything like that. And my boss, Matt, has been super supportive of everything. And we decided to discuss everything and form a bit of a partnership. So, if anyone, even if you don't live in Alberta, if anyone needs any soccer equipment, balls, shoes, shirts, jerseys, anything like that, especially with the World Cup, go to the website, www.worldofsoccer.com. Everything's there. They ship everything. And yeah, super cool for them to hook us up with all this stuff. And don't worry, we're going to get Jamal one as soon as we can.
yes,
But
can't wait.
he's rocking the old Arsenal alternate kit from that they released last season. So it's still something class. Anyway, into business now. I'll hit you with a question right away. Expectations going into the World Cup, what were they? Be honest.
Who goes first? Oh,
Felipe,
sure. Sure. Man, I'll be honest with you. I don't know, Jamal, because you're international like me. We probably follow pages. Like I follow pages from Brazil, from Europe, from Latin America, etc. People got pretty hyped up with Canada, man. International media repercussion is being extremely positive. I think that their intention, like everyone had the expectation that Canada was going to play more defensively and try to play on the counterattack. And when they saw the intensity and the physical shape of the Canadian team and how much effort they put on the field, people were like jaw dropped.
Right.
We showed the world that we can actually compete at any level. We're playing the second highest ranked FIFA team. Of course, Lukaku is not playing. I get it, but on paper, I get it. But hey, man, like we gotta understand that this team went to a World Cup semifinals last World Cup, right? So we gotta aim high. Like Jordan and I talked in previous podcasts. This national team, a lot of those players don't have experience playing with teams away from CONCACAF. So Bahrain, for example, is one of the first times they were actually playing against away teams, like from let's say the Americas, right? So facing a team like Belgium, beginning of the World Cup, like it could easily go down the route of a 3-4-5-0, like we've seen with some other teams.
True.
And we gave them a hell of a time. So my expectation for the second game is to keep the head up and keep the same motto, right? I feel like Herdman's comment after the game drove a lot of attention to him, which I'll be honest with you, as a coach, I think that's good because you remove a lot of the immediate stress and attention to the players, to Afonso Davies missing the penalties and etc. And I feel like that might give the players more, it's only 5 days, 4 days in between games. That's not much. It might give them more peace of mind to actually look at small mistakes they made to improve to the second game. So my expectation is maybe a bit less fast, maybe a bit less like pressuring the high line, maybe not 45 minutes, maybe 20, 30, but more effective. You know what I mean? Trying to kick more the ball to the goal. That's my expectation.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was pretty. The one word I would describe the game was positive. Now, I ranked this group as one of the harder groups, and I also ranked when I heard, honestly, and I hate to say this, when I heard Mane got injured, I'm like, Canada, we have a chance to be dark horses. Not last 16, maybe quarterfinals, who knows? But let's manage expectations. The nerves got to us. There was a lot of hype because we're a good team with this team of boys. They're a brotherhood. They call themselves like a brotherhood, right? They've gone through the whole qualifying thing together. Like Felipe said, a lot of them play in similar leagues, so they know each other's style of play. There's the very good cohesion, and Herdman is that great kind of person who kind of brings it all together. The only thing I would say different, let's just finish our chances. We had our XG was like 2.8 or 2.9, like against Belgium. Like I said, positive, and just to end it, why I say positive is because I think losing 1-0 on the grand scheme of things to a team like Belgium is really good for us going forward in this tournament because it takes away the pressure and the limelight. Oh, Belgium beat Canada beat Belgium, whatever. So 1-0, people who watched it and people who follow it closely know what kind of game it was, like 20 shots on target compared to Belgium's 5, maybe 6.
20 shots ago, 4 on target. Target was actually not that good.
Losing 1-0 against Belgium in our first game in 36 years was a positive thing.
Yeah, honestly, in terms of, I agree totally with everything. I think it's consensus now that Canada did have a missed opportunity. And obviously, coming into the World Cup, who knows, right? Because we've never played a team on the level of Belgium. US and Mexico are good teams, but they're good teams in CONCACAF, as we've learned, especially with Costa Rica. CONCACAF is very different from UEFA. The number 2 team in the world, maybe a little controversial on that, but they still, if they're not second in the world, they're definitely top 5 or top 10 on their day. But it's definitely a missed opportunity, which I never would have thought I would say that coming into this. I'm like, if we could keep a clean sheet, if we could not get beat by like 2 goals or something like that. Like it's just like damage limitation at this point is where I thought we would be. But honestly, feeling bad after losing 1-0 to the second place team in the world, jeez, man, it's night and day the difference.
I also want to say I wasn't surprised because leading up to this game, Belgium have a really shaky defense. They have some older players like Vertonghen and whatnot in their late 30s, and then they have the really young, inexperienced players. So I saw that as a weakness, and we obviously you just look at the game, and that was their weakness. So this Belgium team is a weakened Belgium team. It's a team that's the gold generation is sort of phasing out. You know, there's Mertens, De Bruyne. Even De Bruyne after the game was like, "I just won the man of the match because of my name." And all
Courtois should have been the man of the match.
Should have won that. He had the best. He was the best player on the pitch for that game, in my opinion. But yeah,
I think I'll be honest with you. Kamal Miller was a giant. I was gonna say the F word, but after watching that game, I'm like, this guy. If there was scouts watching this game interested in bringing a left-footed CB to Europe, he's gonna get a few offers because
Alistair is already confirmed, right, to Celtic.
Yeah,
he had a good game as well, a really good game. But I can see Alistair already even had pre-negotiations prior to that. I don't know, Kamal Miller. It's because Alistair has been climbing up the ladder. Like he came from Columbus Crew. He had to play a bit better there. Got some traction with Canada national team, and then changed it to Montreal. Right. Kamal Miller's been in Montreal already for what? I think a couple seasons already, or 3 years.
Around there, yeah.
2018, I think.
So there were opportunities for him to be scouted in North America, and that opportunity maybe didn't happen. I don't know. I feel like we're gonna see more rumors upcoming. But Kamal Miller for me was a giant on the field, man. I got really happy watching his performance because Jordan and I mentioned here before is one of my concerns of this World Cup was our defense. Vitória is slow, Miller's short, and then they compensated that with Vitória with really good passes, really good positioning, and Miller with, like I said, he was a giant. He did everything right. Even passing in the offense side of the field, he was doing the right thing, right?
Yeah.
So
100%. And we can go into our next topic, especially just segued right nice into Alistair Johnston looks like it's confirmed. All we're waiting for is a here we go from Fabrizio Romano. Obviously, he's the one that was the main report that got everyone excited. But Celtic, what are we thinking, boys? Is that good?
Another Scottish Premiership,
right?
Canadian player.
It's another coup.
Celtic from Alistair Johnston going to Celtic in Scotland. Celtic from Glasgow.
So that'll be now that there's Alistair Johnston there. Scott Arfield on Rangers, so look like 2 Canadians in that derby.
The 2 main clubs too, right? It's gonna be
the 2 main clubs, and then we also have Ross County having Akio and Loturi as well. There's Scott Kennedy plays for
Ben Penton. He plays for Ross County, and then we have Theo Bear that plays for St. Johnstone. Same as David Waterspoon, which is it's in Qatar right now.
Yeah,
he plays for.
Also there's what's his name? Adikube plays in Turkey, I think.
No, but he plays in Turkey in this case, which is also a good league for that.
Turkey is a good league to get into Europe. It's one of those feeder leagues like the Scottish Premiership.
Yeah,
and that's what Valencia is from. The main guy from the first game, the Ecuadorian, Valencia.
Right.
He's the first player since the 80s to score the first 6 goals for Ecuador. He played 6 goals in the World Cup in a row. The last 6 games he played.
Valencia, right?
He scored 6 goals.
Yeah.
He plays Turkish league.
Yeah, the Turkish league isn't bad by any stretch. But the one I was really excited about that came after that no one seems to have really caught up on, obviously because it's mostly rumors, is there looked like there was scouts looking at Ismail Kone, looking to bring him to Watford. Because in the summer, I think it was Sheffield Wednesday that was looking at him and decided not to pull the trigger. But now that he's done so well in the playoffs and he came on, he did look good in the game, but he was paired up with Onana on Belgium, and Onana's just this absolute monster of an athlete, so he wasn't the most effective. I think bringing Kone early in the game would have helped, especially since it was such like a back and forth game. Having Kone on would have probably benefited a bit more, but that's exciting to see that Watford could potentially come in from who are sitting 4th in the championship, so Kone could potentially be a Premier League player next season. which
Yeah.
is like going from making his debut for Montreal in February to maybe a year later playing in the championship. It's
And I think
that's what the World Cup can do, right?
right.
And I think Watford is a great academy, or a great not academy, but a great club to form youth talents from abroad. I've seen that with Richarlison, scored 2 goals
Right.
for Brazil.
No, that's a good point.
Before he moved to Everton, he was purchased by a small team in Brazil. Not a small team, but he came from a small team to a bigger team, and then he ended up going to Watford. And a lot of people don't know that, but Ismail Assar that went to Chelsea, same thing. Like, we have quite a few players that they scout in markets that are not, or maybe those players are not that wanted, and they do a 1, 2 years, 3 years process for that player to actually be a good Premier League player. So I think that they would be a good opportunity for him to evolve better than Sheffield Wednesday, to be honest with you. Watford just got relegated recently, so they're always the team that's or Premiership or the Championship. They're never playing the second, right? So
apologies, it was Sheffield United. I always get
Sheffield United. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
But even like that, I still like.
It's a competitive
like
team.
said,
They've had their days.
But I think like
they did well in the Premier League. They almost made Europe, didn't they?
Yeah,
when
Watford,
they were here.
Yeah, Watford.
But
a couple of seasons ago were competitive.
I think that they been scouting him. Like, he got in really well in that game against Japan, right? He scored a goal.
Well.
Right there, he showed what a lot of defensive midfielders lack, which is the speed and the awareness of a counterattack and be able to actually finish.
Yeah.
So that I think checked the marking a few things for a few scouts, but he's definitely the kind of talent that if you're watching MLS or at least following some of the highlights, you would know that's the kind of talent that you knew it was just a matter of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if I'm just quickly looking on transfer market for him, it says that the probability of the transfer to Sheffield United was at that point in 85%. I forget. I remember reading on Twitter somewhere it was like something small. I think it was a player needed to be transferred away or lose contract or something along that in order to bring him in. So I think, but now that he's playing in a World Cup, and honestly, I wouldn't be even surprised if he started against Croatia, with all of his energy against that aging midfield. Obviously, it's good, but we're going to need more than 2 midfielders. Like, Belgium played very similar to us, whereas Croatia are going to be very much like, we're going to hold the ball the entire game. Good luck getting it from us, especially with the midfield 3. I mean, Brozovic, Modric, and Kovacic are no one to really.
Yeah, they ain't got the legs.
Really.
They don't have the legs.
So putting Tony in with Eustachio and I think even Tiba Hutchinson would be a fantastic 3.
Yeah, I think so too. Starting him, or like, one thing that I liked, I kind of in the middle of the game, after 20, 30 minutes, I look at the intensity of Canada in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if Canada keeps playing this intensity, they're going to open space in the back, right? Yeah. And I was seeing Alistair Johnson going up way too much. And Lareo's already doing almost as a right wing, and Tejan Buchanan's already occupying the side of the field. So I'm like, there are 3 guys occupying the side of the field. If we don't come back in the right speed, we are screwed. I saw Eustachio giving, not I won't say the bad word, but giving some trouble to Johnston, because I can see Eustachio's like, stay, because
they were pressing with all 5 of them, all 5 of the forwards.
And he's saying, Ukabambila and Vitória, Eustachio should be the one leading some, and Johnston should be falling back. So that kind of made me think, I was like, maybe I would, Lareo's having a good game, so maybe I would put a Lareo in Johnston's position or vice versa, and put a Roylet there and put an actually finisher, which, like, I think Lauren took too long to get in the game, right?
Yeah, I agreed on that.
So I think in this game we might need a finisher again. So that's why I think the decision for me as a coach would lie. It'd be like, do I give more priority to having 3 good midfielders holding the ball, or do I give the priority to have Jonathan David a bit more free and Larry more as a target forward?
I think you're right, Felipe. I think we need to absorb the pressure more, because first of all, I think Croatia have a better defense than Belgium, more experience with Dejan Lovren, leading the line there.
I agree.
So I think playing 5 at the back and then giving freedom to Jonathan David by playing him and Kyle Larin up front, and then Davies as in the hole. It'll help us absorb pressure, and it'll help us on the counter as well, because you can quickly change from a 5 at the back to 3 at the back if the wing backs, push up and kind of support the two strikers. So I'm thinking we do that because it's a variation of the 3 at the back, which we're used to playing. If they do the 5 at the back, but we'll see what.
I'm okay either way. If we start with Corneo, even if we start the same formation as before, I trust Herdman. It's not that I'm gonna say I'm a better coach. Definitely not. It's just the idea that that's a perception I had from the game. I feel like we lacked a number 9, and maybe David was a bit anxious.
Maybe,
but like I said, I also feel like we could string a bit of the right side of the midfield on the defensive recomposition, on the counterattacks. Hoylett, I think we discussed that too before, Jordan. Hoylett's been playing right midfielder for reading the season, so he could have done that function as well. But Kone in the midfielder, Lauren striker, could start both players and put Hoylett on the bench. But I actually like Hoylett on the game. He was class. Like, he played, I think it was 50, 60 minutes of solid soccer. And then you could see his physical shape he was getting tired. Makes sense. He's already 33 or something like that. 32.
Yeah, he's got some. He's definitely not got the legs that he used to have.
But he was class. He was class for sure.
Speaking of older, I think Borjan had a really good game, given that he wasn't looking like he was going to start made that late recovery. But yeah.
I'm glad he did. He passes so much more security for us at this stage, without the respect to the other goalies. But
yeah, he's the guy.
More and more, I'm confident that Maxime Crepeau is our second goalie, and it's really sad the way that things happened with him, because I think St. Clair has an opportunity to be the second goalie, even potential first goalie for Canada. Still need to mature a lot. And yesterday, we saw that, not yesterday, on the Canada game, how important it is for a goalie to know how to play with their feet. Bojan actually was playing with his foot a lot, because our lines were so high up that when we sometimes had to pass back, he had to be almost like a libero. He would take a little bit of a step, and he was controlling those first actions of passes. And not being anxious on the ball as a goalie nowadays, especially if you want to play a system like that, it is not good. That's why Neuer is Neuer. That's why Ter Stegen is Ter Stegen, right? It's because how good they can control their feet. And Bojan has the ability, not just he can score penalty kicks. He can do things like that, right? So
he's an old school sweeper type.
Yeah, he's a super goalie, exactly. Yeah, that's actually an old school terminology. SK, super goalie, yes. Yeah. But
perfect. Well, we can easily finish off now with a little fun game. One positive and one negative for each of you after watching Canada play. You can only have one of each. We'll start with let's go, Jamal. I'll pick on you.
So I already gave a positive, which was and you know what? I'm gonna go with this. My positive is that we lost 1-0. And the negative is that we also lost 1-0, because, like I said earlier, the 1-0 kind of puts the eyes off us for a while, even though we had a really good game, But it also sucks because we should have won that game easily.
Yeah.
There was literally, other than maybe possession, which was 54-46, so 50-50 in my eyes, we should have won that game. So, yeah, my negative and my positive is basically the fact that we lost 1-0. Respectable loss, nonetheless, and respectable win to Belgium, of course.
Yeah, of course.
On that one.
Fair. Felipe?
I think that for me, the positive, you definitely bleed the attitude, what the players actually showed on the field in terms of how much they hustle and what they put their heart and soul out there, and you could see it. Not that I'm not talking about the quality, the technical level of the soccer they play, the pressure. No, I'm just talking about the attitude, the mentality, right? We saw a lot of teams, experienced teams, such as Argentina, being shook on the first game. You know what I mean? Because of the pressure on them. So them being able to hold the pressure of 36 years without winning the World Cup, play against Belgium and doing a great job, for me, that's the most positive key to take. I'm not going to say the same thing as Jamal, so I'll say the negative thing is not scoring a goal, right? Because now it's one more game that we have in our history of World Cup scoreless, which we had an opportunity on a penalty, but not just that. We had 23, 24 shots, 3 or 4 on target, right? So in the end of the day, we had the opportunity to actually score, and we didn't. And I feel that even if we lost 2-1, that would be a bit better than lost 2-1
A little bit.
on the conditions we did. But again, proud either way of how the Canada team positioning themselves. So
no, of course. So I'm going to start with my negative, which is now we don't have a shock factor anymore. Coming into the World Cup, everyone's like, well, who knows what Canada could do?
yeah,
How will they play? How will they set up? Who's going to start? Who's their main players? Fairly unknown. Now we've shown the world what we can do, which is good and cool and everything. But now there's no shock. Now we know, everyone knows that Canada is going to work hard the entire game, going to press like crazy, and then that's pretty much gone now. Now everyone's like, okay, now we know what to do. This is what we're going to do. So that's probably my negative. But, I mean, I still think John Herman has tricks up his sleeve. Positive is that I think we've shown the world, this is cliche, everyone's saying it, but we've really shown that we actually belong here. We're not a Costa Rica. We're not, just some random club from CONCACAF. We're here to stay. I don't really see Canada not qualifying again for another World Cup unless the format changes, of course, because I think they changed it because of
teams.
COVID.
Sorry?
The next World Cup is going to be 48 teams, and obviously we're hosting, so we're
exactly.
going to do the next couple.
I don't know if FIFA is moving with the hosting being automatically qualified.
They haven't announced it officially. Yeah. I would think it's weird if they don't, considering each of the teams are good enough to be in the World Cup.
Yeah, 48
I think they'll just give 2 spots to a CONCACAF team and leave it.
It would be really awesome if we qualified and US didn't, and they get the majority of the cities. I would love that.
Could you imagine?
Just because I'm really sad that we only have Toronto and Vancouver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like a city like Montreal definitely deserves to have a World Cup, at least a few games. Or a city like, even like ourselves, Calgary, you know what I mean? Like, Winnipeg has a really good stadium, right? Like, then we have to be watching games like Kansas City. So,
but no offense, Jamal, who's going to want to travel from Brazil to Winnipeg to
watch
Brazil?
I did, man. I did. Are you judging me? Jamal did all the way from Mount. Where are you living? Cyprus before, Jimmy?
Yeah, Dubai and Cyprus, but
exactly. So
it's been interesting.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm from Canada all my life, and just like Winnipeg gets slandered like no one else.
Yeah, I feel you.
No, I'm joking about Winnipeg. It's just because they do actually get a decent stadium. Like it's not bad.
Technically the best stadium in the CPL, but yeah, like that's a topic for another day. But yeah, it's been good. Let's see how this World Cup goes. I feel like the culture is gonna really benefit from this World Cup, and yeah, here's to Canada.
Yeah, no, just for example, like I was watching it at I guess I don't want to say boss, just in case he watches it, but like the academy I coached for, the guy who's like owns it all. I was watching it at his apartment in Calgary, and I was taking the elevator up, and there's a guy in a Calgary Flames hat with pizzas, and he's like, "Are you watching the game?" I'm like, "Yeah." Are you? He's like, "Yeah, got my pizza with me and everything." So like even like random people that like sports are tuning in to watch Canada play.
My wife is a high school teacher. She actually got the authorization from the principal to put the game on the school. So I gave her my TSN login. She teaches in a rural area just out of Calgary. So of course, a lot of the kids are not into soccer, right?
Yeah.
But that was at least a group of dozen students watching the game, which is pretty awesome because, the culture that Jamal comes from, I come from, like, the country sometimes will stop during World Cup, you know what I mean? Or during, like
league games.
Yeah, even league, like Champions League or something like that. Like I remember, lunch, like if it was Brazil game day and it was like elementary school and things like that, that's day off, man. You know what I mean? It's like even your parents, like they will finish work 2-3 hours earlier so they can go home earlier to watch the game. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's part of the culture. I don't think we'll get there eventually because we don't even do that for hockey always. But
yeah, hockey.
But just to get the vibe of maybe even people that don't appreciate soccer much getting together every 4 years to watch with friends, that's already a solid culture. You know what I mean? I feel like that that's already really nice. That's what happened in countries like Denmark, and things
Mhm.
like that.
Hey, man,
So
Brampton got us, man. They're gonna continue to churn
Seriously.
out talent from across Canada. Hopefully, we'll get some more stars.
Brampton, what man?
Very obviously,
Talk about Alberta.
yeah.
Brampton's
We
like
got
half
Davies.
the team, though. That's
We got
hilarious.
I
Davies.
know,
I
I
mean,
know,
he's
I
from
know, I know.
Edmonton,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you guys are good. Don't complain. Like we need,
Yeah, no. Yeah. Anyway, well, that's it for this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment.
Cool.
What do you think? Give me the scores. Quick predictions before we end off. Felipe, score against Croatia. Quick fire.
2-1 Canada.
2-1 Canada. Okay, Jamal.
1-1.
I'm going to go with an optimistic 1-0 for Canada. But I don't know. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. And we
What's
will
yours?
see you.
What's yours?
Mine? 1-0.
Yeah. Oh,
1-0.
1-0.
Yeah,
Okay,
1-0.
1-0. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Corin's going to get a clean sheet. It's all good.
Fair enough.
We're going to score a goal. It's going to be Jonathan David, probably from the penalty spot if we're lucky enough. But who knows? Tune in to see it. And we'll keep you up to date on everything. Make sure you keep watching. Stay posted. Always watching this space for everything. And we will see you in the next one. Peace.
Cool. Thank you.